This is the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino and SP3 on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Hi, we're here. We're back. We're doing a show. Technical difficulties. Out the door. Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast back after a busy week in professional wrestling. Sorry we had to take a little bit of a break there, but you know what? A break is good. Gives you time to reset, reassess. SP3 taking an extended break. He's not here today. Jeremy Bennett in today. We break down everything that happened on a jam-packed AEW Dynamite, world title matches, TNT title matches. We have a new TNT champion. If you did not watch that last night, spoiler alert. We'll be talking about that coming up. I guess I kind of did spoil it if you knew who Scorpio Sky's opponent was, but still, I digress. Paige is officially done with WWE. We'll talk about that. Liv Morgan is just living her best life, and it is such a joy to see. Same cannot be said for Shotzi, and the internet should be ashamed of itself. SummerSlam starting to take shape. Where's your excitement level on that? We just gave away tickets to SummerSlam. I'm starting to think like maybe we did a disservice to that gentleman.
And guess what? I'm seeing commercials throughout WWE programming where they're giving away tickets. So, you know.
Ooh, that's... Now, it could just be a giveaway, but how many are they giving away there? That's a question there. I mean, when WWE starts just shelling out seats, that might not. I haven't looked at the sale of things, but I'll tell you what, this will be a little tease, a little morsel for you when we get into the 5 count later. They got to do something. As far as SummerSlam's concerned, man, they really got to do something to pique my interest. Like they give a damn what my interest is, but man, the way this card is shaken out, when you look at potential other matches. Starting to second guess whether or not I want to drive down to Nashville.
Well, we're already 2/3 of that card is rematch city. So,
and again, if you look at other potential matches, which we'll get to, man, they got to do something. You could do something. You could hop on board with our partners over at Bet Online, the continued #1 source for all of your betting needs and sports information. Get all the latest odds, news, sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon finals. Cannot believe that Sinner just pissed away that match against Novak Djokovic earlier this week. Major League Baseball, latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Better get on that train because training camp, thank God, only a few weeks away. Head on over to the website. Use your mobile device to sign up today. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code Bleav to get started. Get that bonus. Get into the action. That is BLEAV. Bet Online, where the game starts. Jeremy, you're over in Cornhusker country. How you feeling about UCLA, USC, heading over to the Big Ten with Nebraska?
Yeah, no Bet Online for me yet. Hopefully next year or 2 years. I don't know. We're getting gambling casinos, but we need that online sports book, baby. We need it. It's weird but I mean, we're long past geography meaning anything when it comes to conferences. So somebody said don't be surprised if in 6 years both the Big Ten and the SEC have 20 teams. You know, it won't surprise me. There's other conferences trying to poach Pac-12 teams as well.
Big 12 is already trying to take 6 Pac-12 teams and
yeah, so
which I'm fine, because as of this time next year, my boys are going to be in the Big 12. So it's nice to be on the inside looking at all of the confusion on the outside, because usually it's UC who just gets screwed as far as conference realignment is concerned. They finally get over to the Big East. They get a real conference, and then all the non-football schools are like, screw you guys. We're going to go create our own thing, and left us in the lurch.
Yeah, you figure out of the 2 conferences, you figured the Pac-12 was stronger than the Big 12, but not anymore.
Not when you lose your 2 big anchors.
Yep. Who
would have thought the Big 12 would lose Texas and Oklahoma and have longer sustaining power than the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah,
Speaking
because
of
they're
insane, let's actually talk about pro wrestling.
yeah, I was gonna say. Well, one more football note. There also was stuff. Colorado is possibly coming over too now. That's come out today. So renew that Big 8, Big 12 rivalry there.
There you go. Sounds about right. Let's talk about insane last night. AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley, Brody King.
Yeah.
Moxley having to steal a play out of Brody King's playbook. We saw Brody choke out Darby Allin last Friday night to get this title shot, and Jon Moxley had to choke out Brody King to retain his interim AEW World Championship. I thought this was exactly what I wanted to see out of this match. We all knew Moxley was going to win. It was just how he was going to get the big man down. And how good did they make Brody King look? And again, they continue to build him and bill him as this monster. I think it made both guys look good last night in that main event, how they decided to book it and how everything went down and how much offense Brody King got in the match.
Yeah, like when you see Brody King go full speed for that cannonball, man, you want to get the F out the way, man. But Brody King in a main event spot, I mean, if you've watched him over the past 5 years with Ring of Honor and such, you know that he belongs in a main event every once in a while, and I think he showed that he belonged tonight as well. Him and Mox had a great match, very interesting off camera. Darby Allin came out and tried to shake Brody King's hand, and Brody King did not reciprocate. So that was kind of interesting to see after the cameras went off the air.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I was disappointed in, and this kind of plays into something that we saw earlier on in the night last night. Selfishly, I was hoping that they were going to be setting up Malachi Black and Jon Moxley, getting Jon Moxley mixed in with the House of Black mixing in with Blackpool Combat Club. I was kind of hoping that was the direction that they were going to be going out of this. No, instead, Tony Khan has the audacity, dare I say the cojones, to make me choose between Miro and Malachi Black. Miro pissed off that he got the black mist during the AAC championship matchup at Forbidden Door, and now the Redeemer is going after House of Black. This is not the direction I thought they were going to go. This is going to bang if and when Miro and Malachi meet.
Yeah.
But damn it, man. But I'm at the point where both of these guys kind of need to win matches, and now one of these dudes has to lose. So I'm kind of torn about this. Like, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of the ride, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of those things where I'm disappointed at the end, no matter what it is.
Yeah, because I think Malachi needs the win more than Miro at this point, even though you're building Miro to be a monster. There's not a clear direction for him now, but you've got 3 matches potentially with Buddy Murphy, Brody King, and Malachi Black that are going to be all classics with Miro. So it was kind of a I don't know. I guess maybe you should have saw it coming with what happened in that match at Forbidden Door, but at the same time, it's gonna produce 3 good matches and a good feud, and be interesting to see if Miro has any backup. I don't know if anybody's gonna step up and help
I don't
Miro.
think he needs it, man.
No.
That's not who he is at this stage in the game. That's
Much
not
like
who he is.
Wardlow, I was thinking, like, with him being in Rochester last night, I thought the Dark Order would come out and back up Wardlow, but as we found out, he didn't need any help. So
No.
so maybe Miro doesn't need any help either.
No, and look, they have booked Wardlow to perfection. This man is 100% over. He's as hot as he ever was. This is a guy who desperately needed some gold, right? Like, he needed an accomplishment to kind of hang his hat on. And I loved how they booked this last night. This was 100% the right move. You got Dan Lambert and American Top Team and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page throwing literally everything but the kitchen sink at Wardlow last night, and he just does what he does. He plows through literally everybody, takes out the entire field, survives a belt shot to the face, which I thought might, for at least for a half second, might be how they were going to screw him out of this. But man, there was no screwing him out of this. This
Mm.
was 100% the right call. This is not a hot take to say that the TNT Championship has not carried the same weight that it did back in the days when Cody and Darby and maybe Sammy for the first 2 times had that TNT Championship. This was a title that was in a bad need of a reset. I think Scorpio Sky winning it had a lot of great potential, but then they got convoluted with the booking. Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? Is he a babyface? Oh no, he's actually a heel. We're going to have him lose the belt, and then we're going to have him win the belt. None of it made sense. I wish he would have had a longer sustained and more successful run, but I think Scorpio here was the victim of bad booking, and Wardlow is reaping all the benefits on this.
Yeah, and what I think with Scorpio, I think the long-term thing is we're going to have Ethan Page turn on him. That's going to be your match at All Out, and then hopefully we get an SCU reunion out of it. I think is kind of the pathway. It feels like there's been a going to be a split between Page and Sky for some time now. I think losing the title is going to probably kind of kickstart that. I was surprised the title changed. I figured the street fight gimmick was going to be a way to not put it on Wardlow just yet. And Scorpio would get out of there with the belt and survive until hell, probably All Out. I figured they could stretch that to All Out where Wardlow would finally win the TNT title. But so I was surprised they did it in Rochester, but obviously Brody Lee made that title in his hometown. So I am not mad at all that they did it there. And obviously I'm not mad at all that they put it on Wardlow either.
No, like I said, this was 100% the right call. This was the right time to do it. This was I feel like this was a massive reset for Scorpio, for Ethan, for Dan Lambert, for everybody involved. Now, of course, Sammy Guevara is celebrating on Twitter because now he can challenge for the TNT Championship again. In which case, I'm like, go ahead, hop right on that there, Sammy. Look, Wardlow is going to have this belt, or at least he should have this belt for a very, 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 very long time. This is a guy who's going to come in and he's going to accept all challengers. There's not going to be any ducking. This is the biggest dog in the damn yard as far as he's concerned. So yeah, come up and challenge him. And I would put his ass on Wednesday every single week defending against a member of the AEW roster.
I would have Tony Khan take a page out of the NWA playbook and do something similar with that they do with the television title. I would say if you hold that TNT title for 6 months or a year, you get a world title. You can trade that title in for a world title shot, much like with the television title at NWA. If you defend it 7 times, you are able to get a world title shot. I'd like to see them do that with the TNT title. I think it would add a little more prestige to it, and I think you could pull that off for the very first time with a guy like Wardlow.
I don't hate it, but then that kind of it kind of goes against what Tony has always said the TNT Championship was, which is a title that is kind of on par with the AEW, which we all know is bullshit based on the way that he's booked it.
Then he got the All Atlantic title that wasn't even present tonight. So,
yeah. Where the hell is Pac? It's been 2 weeks. We haven't seen him on television. That's kind of on par with Pac, but I don't know. It could be travel. It could be taking time off, whatever it is. He's got a Pac show. Maybe he's not going to be on Rampage either. So they announced the full card for that. So it seems weird. I think his first title defense is at an indie show, isn't it? Pac's?
I don't know.
I saw a graphic on Twitter. I just saw it in passing that he was going to be defending the All Atlantic Championship on a show that I wasn't quite sure of. So that's kind of where the All Atlantic Championship and Pac are at the moment here. But last night was all about a big reset for the TNT Championship and hopefully a big reset for both Scorpio and Ethan. You talk about how they should be leaning towards turning on each other. I think AEW missed the boat by not turning that entire team babyface because they don't need to be associated with Dan Lambert at all. And trying to turn Dan Lambert babyface wouldn't have been the right play to go. You can have Lambert be with Paige Van Zant, somebody who needs a mouthpiece. Scorpio and Ethan don't need anybody to talk for them.
No, not at all. But if you have Ethan turn on Scorpio and now he is like the main guy in that group, it's gonna elevate Ethan to a level that he hasn't been to yet. And frankly needs to be at right now. And oh my god, this is so funny. TNT's official account at TNT Drama just updated their bio to Wardlow is our champion.
Love it. I absolutely love it.
Excellent.
See, hang on. Yes. So Pac's first title defense, by the way, is going to be at Rev Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's going to be defending his championship at Rev Pro. So that's
Kind of
where
makes sense with the structure of that belt, the idea behind that belt. It kind of makes sense to have it to be defended in other promotions in other countries and things like that. I like that idea, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, totally fine with it. He's going to be taking on Shota Umino. So that's that match is going to bang. Pac will probably hang on to it. And then maybe we'll see him back on AEW television.
Speaking of bang, man, Eddie Kingston and Takesha on Friday. Woo! Man,
they set up a lot of great matches for both this week, and this is what I love about AEW, man. They are always thinking ahead. I mean, obviously they filmed Rampage last night, but they are already booked in advance for next week. We're getting Claudio and Hager, and I'm secretly hoping that our boy Dutch Mantel will be brought in as the special guest referee for that match, because we the people, may we always remember. But
crowd doesn't forget.
Nope. The smart marks never forget.
Fighter Fest night 1, of course. I believe I think the third ever Fighter Fest, which is originally making fun of the Fire Festival. And if you've never seen that documentary, man, go watch it, because it was a shit show.
Is it the third? Is it the third or the fourth?
I think it might be the third.
Time is meaningless to me at this point, because years, days, months, everything. Once you have kids, like, everything just kind of melds together. Yesterday might as well have been like August 17th of 2019 for me. So I can't keep anything straight as far as the years are concerned. One thing that I absolutely cannot believe is that we are sitting here today, July 7th, 2022. And the only reason I know that is because I'm looking at my computer screen right now for the date, right? It is July 7th, 2022. Paige has not wrestled a match since December of 2017. How that to me is unfathomable. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
And still was contracted. It still was contracted up until yesterday. I want that job.
Let's dive into this, shall we?
Give me it.
It's time to answer the 5 count on the Bleav Podcast Network.
I brought up Paige for a reason. She wrote an absolutely wonderful goodbye to WWE in the Players Tribune. If you don't know what that is, or you didn't see the link of it, at Real Paige WWE, which is still her Twitter handle as of this recording. That will probably change soon, or maybe not. I've seen a lot of people hang on to those because they can hang on to those verified check marks, which is ridiculously hard to get, by the way. Some of us have been rejected 9 times. I'm not bitter or anything. I pulled the Ferris Bueller 9 times.
My ex co-host, my ex co-host from my old podcast just got it. I'm like, man,
yeah, so easy for him.
Yeah, I tried for the first time, I think.
Twitter hates me. I literally work for not 1, not 2, not 3. I work for 5 verified, credible news or sports outlets, and yet they won't verify me because somehow they can't confirm that I work there, even though I send all the evidence that I work at these places. It turned into something, right? Like this, and I'm going off on a diatribe here that nobody cares about but me. But this turned into something that was like, oh, it would be cool to get the check mark, to now it's a vendetta. Like, I am on a personal mission to get that god dang blue check mark if it's the last thing that I do on this planet. Twitter and me are at war right now. We are in absolute war with each other, although they don't know it and they don't give a fuck about it. You can follow me on Twitter, by the way, at Rick Uccino. If you're listening on the podcast, that's spelled UCCHINO. Yes, Jim.
Yeah, maybe just maybe sweet talk Elon Musk, because I think that deal is finally going through.
If it does, let's open up some floodgates here as far as the verification process is concerned. It's too damn confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I remember when I looked at it and did it, I was like, it said, like, got to regularly tweet. Well, yeah, I do that a lot on Mondays and Wednesdays and sometimes Fridays and Tuesdays. And then I don't know. You got to put the link in your bio, and
I think I was told at least on 2 or 3 separate occasions that I wasn't notable enough. I'm like, motherfucker, you have literally verified accounts that have like 38 followers. Like, I'm not saying I got the biggest audience in the world, but I got plenty enough for your. You know what I feel like? I feel like the guy outside of the club that can't get let into the velvet rope. That's what I feel like right now. And it is just irritating me. But one day it will happen. Let's actually talk about what we're supposed to be talking about here. Yesterday, like I said, Paige wrote a wonderful goodbye to WWE after 11 years in the company. She signed with WWE when she was 18 years old. And now she is out. WWE's decided not to renew her contract. As far as I'm concerned, she is a first ballot slam dunk WWE Hall of Famer right now. Does not matter. Everything that she accomplished in the ring is more than enough to get her there. I wish her in-ring career did not come to a screeching halt the way that it did. A lot of great memories. One of my favorites of all time was her debut on Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania, where she beat AJ Lee to capture the then Divas Championship. That was a little bit of a telegraph moment, but still, it was an absolutely brilliant match. Her promo work against the Bellas and battling back and forth with them and working with them. Obviously, her match with Emma in NXT. A lot of great memories from Paige inside the ring, but also outside of it as well, with her being one of the best general managers in company history, which makes me just scratch my head at the fact that, as you alluded to, they just left Paige on the bench for years. The last time I think we saw her on television is when she got green misted by the Kabuki Warriors when they split up with her when she was their manager. And I think that was in 2018, 2019. I think it was pre-pandemic at this point. I can understand keeping Paige off the road when the pandemic is going on, but dang, man, like, they could have been using her. They could have re-signed her. It would have been smart for them to re-sign her. But now that she's done, Jeremy, what would you like to see the future for Saraya hold? And this sounds weird calling her by, her government name, but yeah, Paige is no more. Saraya is here. What would you like to see her do?
Do the old Christian thing, put a cage on it. Paige Cage.
Paige Cage.
Obviously, I'd love to see her get cleared and return to the ring, whether it be Impact or AEW. But you got to think, with wrestling being in her family her whole life, you got to think she wants to go somewhere to do something, even if it's not competing in the ring. So whether it be a manager in AEW, a company that actually values managers, or, it's either that or wrestle, so it kind of depends on that. I almost, wasn't she saying that she was thinking she might be cleared? I don't know.
She doesn't believe that she's done in the ring.
Yeah.
She says she feels 200%. WWE is, I guess, at this point where they clearly did not want to clear her for in-ring action.
Well,
and that
yeah, and why? And there's a history of that. They did that to Taz. They did it to the Macho Man back in the 80s or 90s. They did it to Kurt Angle later in his career. There's a
For the
history.
longest time, they would not clear Samoa Joe. For the
Samoa Joe's
longest
another
time.
one. And the match with Killer Cross was just happenstance because of other circumstances. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have cleared him there either. It's just a weird paradox within WWE of them holding people back that I think they don't want, because these are people that got over on their own and not at the creative process of WWE. It's just they did it with Bryan Danielson too.
To play devil's advocate, I think and I could see it. I can see their concern with Paige, right? Because she had this injury, they cleared her, they brought her back, and then it was just, again, one little misstep in the ring, and she was out, and she was out for still a very long time. She's been out till this day. Like I said, her last match was a house show, a tag match in December of 2017. She hasn't wrestled since then.
Yep.
And we all remember, the video surfacing and her falling down to the ring. That's scary shit, man. And I can see WWE side of it where they do want to be cautious in these situations. And to the credit, I commend them, because I'm sure a lot of it has to be with they don't want to be held liable. They don't want to be responsible, this, that, and the other thing. But I mean, man, in the case of Bryan Danielson, right? When you've got all of these doctors who are saying he's good, he's fine. He's good.
It's just fishy to me because there's a history of it going all the way back 30 years ago. There's just been a history of WWE doing that mysteriously. And then all of a sudden, they're in another company and can go. Oh,
I mean, heck, look, Edge said it himself. He was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back. I'd like for it to be here. And Vince was like, yeah, I agree. If this is going to happen, it should be here.
That's because Tony was calling. He didn't want to see that.
Exactly.
Vince did not want to see that happen.
Exactly. So, I mean, you see now all of a sudden it's like Edge kind of opened up these floodgates for a lot of people. He opened up the floodgates for obviously himself and for Christian and, Bryan Danielson in there as well. So, those guys all coming back. There's hope for Paige, and she's talked about that ad nauseum. It's like, look, these guys give me hope that I'm going to be able to get back in the ring. So that's always going to be her goal, and I hope she gets there. If she is 100% healthy, that's always the top priority. But she could be a TV host. She could be on a TV series. She could act. She could be a manager. She could be anything. I just want to see her back on television. Like, seriously, that's all I can ask for. As a fan of Paige, Saraya, whatever you want to call her, I just want to see her on TV again. Just give me that. That's all I really want for her future to hold, because I don't know if she will get ever medically cleared to wrestle again. And if she does, fuck yeah, put her in AEW against Dr. Britt Baker. Let's go.
Imagine Paige in the House of Black.
I don't know about that one. Just don't put Paige in a group with anybody. Just let Paige be.
Well, I mean,
let Saraya be Saraya. All right,
man. If she's not wrestling though, you got to have her on as a manager.
That I understand. Yeah,
AEW does not need an authoritative figure that WWE's had.
I would almost argue that they could, though.
WWE's had that crutch for so long.
It's always Tony Khan, right? And I know he likes to be kind of like that on-screen character, but if anybody's ever going to be like the first general manager or authoritative figure in AEW, I would love for it to be Saraya.
I just don't think AEW's ever going to go down that road.
Maybe not. Unless they do that as a way to get her to kick the can down the road until she is medically cleared.
WWE used it as a crutch for so long. Now what they're doing with Adam Pearce has been good.
Yeah.
It's not too much, but that's because they've done too much before with it. So
I don't think here's the thing. If you just had an authority figure who was fair, 100% down the middle,
just like Nigel,
babyface, doesn't have to be heel, just hey, I'm the boss.
Just like Nigel McGuinness in Ring of Honor. He was the matchmaker.
It's fine. Perfect.
Yeah.
None of this. I'm going to screw you. No personal vendettas. Like even what they're doing now with Pierce, where he's obviously got a personal issue with Sonya Deville. It's like, okay, it's an interesting storyline, but then again, now it's Adam Pearce abusing his power and putting the heel and handicap matches against baby faces, which is weird to say the least. One thing that is a little weird to see, but I'm very, very happy that we're getting to see it, and I can't wait for it to basically to grow accustomed to it. Watching Liv Morgan on Monday, and Bully Ray be damned with his opinions, because I know he came out and said he didn't find it believable, or he didn't like it, or this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, her beating Ronda, or
no, her promo on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Watching Liv Morgan just be happy, just to have that smile on her face, to get the "you deserve it" chance, to just be screaming at the top of her lungs and celebrating with her fans in the ring. I don't know what Bully Ray was talking about on SiriusXM, where it sounded like she was playing. That didn't sound like she was playing to me. That was about as genuine gets. That's just who Liv Morgan is, man. And it was so damn great to see her that happy, to be put in that spotlight, to be put at that 9 o'clock hour, getting to tag with Bianca Belair and
go back
doing the championship belt, toast and everything like that. It was so great, and I'm like, man, I'm just over the moon happy for Liv Morgan that this finally happened for her.
Go back to her entrance at Money in the Bank, and I kind of caught this live, but you could tell like there was a lot of emotion on her face coming out, like more than normal. Like she knew she was going to win.
Here's the thing, right? Though I caught the same thing, but I immediately squashed it because she did the same thing at Money in the Bank last year.
Oh, did she?
She did. I caught it last year, and I thought, oh shit, maybe she's about to win this damn thing, because they did the whole build. They, again, she was the most over person in that match. She had that great promo on the pre-show, crowd behind her, everything. I'm like, shit, they're actually going to pull the trigger on Liv Morgan. That's great. And then they didn't. And then I saw her overcome with emotion this year, and I'm like, oh, can't do it. Can't get my hopes up. And I was genuinely happy when she won, and I was genuinely happy when she cashed in, even though I wish they would have just wait 2 days next time. Just wait 2 days to cash in.
Ever since Carmella, your average hold time for that briefcase for women, ever since Carmella, is 9 hours.
And that's up to dispute about whether or not how long you want to count Asuka having the actual briefcase, because it's a match that was
true.
She technically won the title, so
9 hours kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe 9 hours. There we go. But regardless, this was much needed for Liv Morgan and her fans, but also much needed for SmackDown. SmackDown desperately needed a change. With Sasha and Naomi gone, they needed an infusion of new and different talent, and they started that process by moving Sonya Deville over. That was a great move, and now they've hit the reset button as far as the title picture is concerned, and now Liv Morgan, a top-level babyface who was lost in the shuffle on Raw, is now the top girl over on SmackDown. So now this kind of reshapes everything. And now, with Bayley set to return imminently, I think this opens the door for her to go to, honestly, either brand, in my opinion. So I'll ask you, because she seemed like a slam dunk to SmackDown for me before all of it went down on Saturday and Liv Morgan moved over. Do you think this opens up Bayley to return to Raw, or do you still think SmackDown is the favorite spot for Bayley right now?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, because it's so weird, because she's gonna get cheered. Are we gonna bring her back as a heel? Because you have two babyface champions right now. Do you put her in the title picture right away?
No.
Do you have her feud with a Charlotte if you go to SmackDown, or do you have her feud with a Becky Lynch if she goes to Raw?
Yes. Yes. A million times yes.
You don't. I don't think you need to put her in the title picture immediately, because she won't really need it, because she's going to have all that backing of her being gone for over a year. So
Yeah, so WWE has just flat gotten it wrong with their last two returns in their women's division. They decided to bring back Becky Lynch, who the fans for weeks were chanting, "We want Becky, we want Becky, we want Becky." Your most over baby face in the last, in the John Cena era, since John Cena, your most over baby face that you have had.
how much man merchandise got sold here?
Flying off the shelves. Like the most over star that you had, and you decided to go, no, screw that. We're bringing her back as a heel, damn it. And it didn't work at first, but Becky is so damn good at what she does that she's
really nobody was going to
work. She's gotten it to work.
Yeah, nobody believed it at first.
She's not as big of a heel as I think WWE would want her to be, but again, she's just so damn likable that it's hard for people to boo her. And now they're starting to like her as this big time Bex character and this big time Bex heel persona, that they want big time Bex to turn into a baby face. So that's already kind of where we're at with her. And I think that is going to happen sooner rather than later. But they absolutely made the wrong call there to bring her back immediately as a heel, because everybody was going to be so damn happy that she was back and they were going to revolt against that. And they did. And then Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
Ronda Rousey was getting booed out of arenas left and right when she left the company in 2019. She gets one massive pop at the Royal Rumble because everybody was excited for something special to happen. Everybody gets that return pop. They made the same damn mistake with Batista. Vince McMahon told Batista, like, look, they're going to be so happy that you're back. They're going to cheer for you. We're going to make you a babyface. And Batista told him that's going to last for about 5 minutes. And Vince did not learn from his mistakes. Now, to the credit of Ronda Rousey's star power, she still gets cheered every week. But she's not comfortable being a babyface. She doesn't want to be a babyface. She just wants to go out there and be a total bitch. Her words, not mine.
Yeah,
they got that one wrong, in my opinion, as well.
I don't know. Her promos have just been so off since she's returned, and I think it's just because it's not the natural persona of hers.
Right. They haven't been dumpster fire moves like a lot of people would claim they would be, because again, Ronda gets cheered every week. Becky's been getting booed. She's been doing a lot of great work as a heel. It was like WWE just decided, hey, we're just going to push this 800-pound boulder up a cliff just for the fuck of it. Like, that's what they decided to do instead of just taking the obvious slam dunk. Here's the obvious slam dunk. People love Bayley. People love the work that Bayley was doing, even as a heel. They are going to be excited that she's going to get to wrestle her first match in front of fans for the first time since 2020. You need to bring her back as a babyface. And you need to bring her back against one of your top heels on Monday Night Raw and give us something that we haven't seen in the history of the Four Horsewomen. This is the only coupling that has not had a major feud with one another. We're going to talk about SummerSlam here in a little bit, so I don't want to dive into this too much. Becky and Bayley needs to be one of your marquee matches at SummerSlam this year. You need to give it to us. I want to, now that Becky is done with Asuka, I want to see Bayley show back up. Hell, you can even do it at SummerSlam if you want, right? Like, you could do the reverse of what you did last year. I don't need to see Becky and Bianca again. And I'm going to save it, actually, because we'll talk about SummerSlam coming up here in a little bit here on the 5 count. But you could do a reverse of what you did last year and do something completely different at the same time with Bianca that would make SummerSlam a better card all around. But again, we'll make that a teaser.
You could have Becky go off on her in one of her crazy promos, and then Bayley's music hits, and perfect return right there on Monday Night Raw.
I might even save it for SummerSlam. Again, that's just a little tease. Number 3 here on the 5 count. I like to have fun. This is one of those things that just keeps sticking in my craw, though. Going back to Money in the Bank. Shotzi deleted her Twitter this week after a number of fan criticisms that came in. And she later said she'd been going through some other stuff as well. But she got a lot of heat. And I mean, a lot of heat for her performance inside of Money in the Bank. And I don't think it's fair because I only watched the match the one time, but it's not like anything Shotzi did like stood out to me as just egregious. Like she didn't look like she didn't belong there. That Money in the Bank ladder match, was it a 5-star classic? No, it wasn't. But to the credit of what several superstars have said on Twitter, including Shotzi, including Alexa Bliss, the live crowd was into it. They were absolutely into it. The girls themselves had fun. And you had a great moment with Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank. At the end of the day, that's all that freaking matters. Was it sloppy in spots? Yes, of course. Here's a thing. News alert, guys. This shit is hard.
I liked what Corey Graves said. He said it twice during the match. He goes, you can never predict what the ladder is going to do.
Yes.
And all these people that are adding Shotzi, let's see you try to run up a ladder and do a clothesline. Let's see how you perform there, pal.
Here's the thing. And a lot of these keyboard warriors that just hammer on these superstars, whether they're Shotzi or Becky Lynch or whomever, have not, will not ever step foot inside of a wrestling ring. I trained for 18 months with a former WWE WCW superstar, one of the best technical wrestlers ever.
And a great country dancer.
Yes. All right. The guy's incredibly talented. All right. You guys have no fucking idea how hard this shit is, how much stuff you got to keep inside your head just to be able to put on a good basic match. Just a basic chain, shine, heat, comeback, falsies, finish. Just a basic match structure in a one-on-one contest. It was so 18 months. I still had to plan out every single solitary move. There ain't no calling that shit in the ring 18 months in. Hell, my teacher told me that for the first 3 years that he wrestled, he had to plan out every single little spot. Again, basic match. Basic match. And I get that these ladies are in the major leagues. This is supposed to be the top of the line, and they are. Shit's still hard. 7 women in a fucking ladder match where, as you said, things could go awry at any moment, and they often do.
That was brilliant work by Corey but it didn't take the heat off, obviously.
And obviously not, but that's commentary's job, is to kind of help fill in the gaps.
Yep.
And to help out the talent. And yes, Corey did a great job on that, but obviously it didn't stop people from attacking Shotzi for one reason or another. And it's like, here's my question on the 5 count. Number 3, can we just do better as a society, please? Twitter sucks. This is the second time I'm going on this rant for different reasons. Twitter sucks because of the people who are out there who feel like they just need to shit on everything endlessly. We try to be positive here on Bleav in Pro Wrestling. If something is due constructive criticism, yes, we will take that avenue. Shotzi doesn't deserve your hate or your bullshit.
No, not especially with what she's gone through recently.
Oh, did she have an opportunity that I didn't? And here's the thing: my biggest issue with the Money in the Bank ladder match, honestly, is how it was produced, because it really didn't give a chance for a lot of women to shine. There was no like story to it. It was just a car crash. And sometimes car crashes can be a lot of fun.
Oddly enough, the men's was completely the opposite. Everybody shined in that one.
Yes. Like the only woman who really shot, there were 2 women who shined in this match, and it was Becky and Liv. Obviously,
especially that ending sequence. That was so awesome. Rebounding off the ropes, where that could go wrong a million different ways, and she nailed it, and that made the finish probably one of the best finish. I would put that up there with one of the best finishes in Money in the Bank history. Just because of what Liv pulled off there.
Yeah. Guess what? That ain't easy either, folks.
No. Especially when you're
Jesus.
10 feet in the air at that point. Maybe 8 to 10 feet in the air. You're about a little over halfway up that ladder.
It just pisses me off. Like, I know you guys are paying customers and you want to see great stuff, but guys, not everything is going to go right. And it's still,
That's
even so,
where
it's
social
wrestling,
media.
guys. Let's not take this shit so damn seriously and so personally.
That's where
Please.
social media, especially Twitter, it'd be great to force people to tie their identities to their Twitter account, so they can't hide behind a burner or anything like that. And then that way they can get just, fired from their job for being the asshole that they are, something, some kind of repercussion that doesn't exist on Twitter.
It's also what verification is also supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there again.
Well, Rick versus the blue check mark at WrestleMania.
Oh, kick that check mark's ass. No, me versus Elon Musk for the blue check mark. I'll take that on. Just give me a couple steroid shots in my back. I'll be good to go. Great American Bash was on Tuesday. Again, for those of you who are tuning in, we didn't get to record our show because I didn't have internet for the last couple of days. So thank God that that's back. We're able to kind of do a quick, this is like a smorgasbord we're giving you. Here's all the big stuff we missed this week, right? Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade taking down Toxic Attraction at Great American Bash. Then she said, boom, challenging Mandy Rose next week, cashing in my opportunity here that I earned by winning the breakout tournament. Getting my shot now at Mandy Rose in that NXT Women's Championship next week. They say Toxic Attraction is done, son. So I'll ask you, Jeremy, Roxanne Perez, she going to be a double champion by this time next week?
I want it to happen. I would like to see it happen. Logic may dictate that it happens, because you just feel like that call up is imminent for Toxic Attraction. But I'm going to say no, because I think Toxic Attraction is still going to be at NXT for a little while now. You're probably going to get that rematch for the tag titles at some point. Probably.
And Mandy alluded to that as well.
If they do a takeover, or is there one already announced for around SummerSlam or no?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay. So whenever they have it, you almost got to think a takeover.
They had that weird QR code thing. I don't know if that's alluding to their next date or what, but whatever. What was it? 8, 10, 11?
Yeah, I have no idea what that was. I went out last night, so I didn't watch it live, but Jose sent me that. I asked him if it was a clock. Is that hours or minutes or days or months?
When was the first ever episode of NXT? Do we know?
2011? 2012.
Is it 2012? Fuck. Just a guess. Just throwing that out there. It's the first thing that popped into my head on that one.
I have no clue. No. Oh, that don't count. It says 2010, but that was the game show, crappy game show.
NXT. Still, well, what was that? What was that date? Was
February 23rd, 2010?
Shit. All right. Well, it wasn't August 10th.
No.
So anyway. No way, Jose. Anyway,
some people were pairing it off to letters of the alphabet, and maybe it's someone from UK coming over.
I mean, they're bringing everybody from NXT UK over anyway, so what the hell? But going back to the question, Jeremy, do you smell that? Do you smell that? I smell bullshit. I smell a bullshit finish. That's what I smell on this one. Yeah. Roxanne should win it. They have something very, very special in her, and I think they know that they have something very, very special in her. They call her a prodigy for a reason. Anybody you talk to knows how good she is. I think she's somebody that is going to find herself up on the main roster sooner than later. Maybe even by the end of this year. She is that damn good. I would say she should take down Mandy Rose, but I still think they got that queued up for Nikita at some point, for Nikita to be the one to take that title off of Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
So I'm smelling some bullshit. I'm smelling Toxic Attraction getting involved to set up the tag team title rematch. And basically they're wasting the breakout tournament thing in a way that would be better than, honestly, Roxanne using it to get a tag team title shot. So at least they already have the belts, the tag belts. But look, Roxanne was never going to win the breakout tournament. I think Nikita was. And I do think Nikita's still going to be the person who takes the belt off of Mandy Rose.
I think, has there been 3 breakout tournaments, 2 men and 1 female?
Yes.
So
I know Carmelo successfully cashed his in.
ACH didn't.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah, so we're at a 50-50 right now. It is not as successful as the Money in the Bank briefcase. That is 100%.
I'll tell you, it's not going to be a guaranteed no, because you could call up Toxic Attraction next week.
You could, and I think they're needed. Unless they have decided that, hey, we have women's tag team titles that actually need to be, on somebody. Which, by the way, if my math is correct, let me check in on this one. Sorry, WWE's website's being weird. Yes. As of yesterday, Vacant has now had a longer run with the women's tag team titles than Sasha Banks and Naomi did. Sasha Banks and Naomi had the belts 46 days. Vacant is at 48 and counting. 48 days we have had no women's tag team champions without a mention of that tournament since the week that Sasha and Naomi were stripped of them. I would love to see a women's tag team title match at SummerSlam. I really, really would there, Jeremy. SummerSlam card is starting to shape up. We got 3 matches on the card officially. Obviously, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, undisputed WWE Universal title last man standing match. Got Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. We got Bobby Lashley versus Theory for the United States Championship. Somewhere, somehow, some way, Miz and Logan Paul are going to be on this card, squaring off with one another. People think they might be setting up a tag match now that Ciampa's involved. Maybe AJ Styles in there as well. So they'd be trying to make Logan Paul the babyface. It's just bad decisions on top of bad decisions. We think, according to Dave Meltzer, it's going to be Liv Morgan defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey one-on-one. No Charlotte Flair involved at SummerSlam. With this card starting to take shape here a little bit, what is your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10? Jeremy, 10 meaning you're getting in the car and you're driving your happy ass from Cornhusker Country over to Nashville to get into Nissan Stadium and watch this card.
That's too long of a drive for Rematch City. About a 5 right now, and most of that's McAfee and Corbin. But that's almost every WWE pay-per-view. The excitement level is because their builds are crap, but then the show turns out to be good. That's just how WWE's operated for several years now, and it's probably going to be the same thing. SummerSlam's probably going to be a good show, but the build to it again, it just reeks of we don't know what the hell we're doing. We'll throw something together last minute. We're 3 weeks out, and we have 3 matches on what is the second biggest pay-per-view that WWE views. A lot of people think Rumble is, but I mean, WWE views this as the second biggest pay-per-view behind Mania.
I'd put them at 1A, 1B as far as the Royal Rumble and SummerSlam are concerned. I think the top 3 are far and above the 4th pillar, with the Survivor Series being that 4th one. But yeah,
this is a longer card typically, and you're only got 3 matches with 3 weeks to go. This is supposed to be things that have been building for months leading to SummerSlam. Things have been building since Mania leading to SummerSlam. Let's see. None of that stuff we have so far on the card was built since Mania outside of Logan Paul and Miz, which hasn't been
unless you count Roman and Brock, which has been built since WrestleMania 2015. That's
WrestleMania 15.
Yes, WrestleMania 5. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I'm pretty sure these two were fighting when they were in grade school.
They could have came up with a more creative title match than
yes. I think they hit the panic button.
This is lazy.
I think they 100% hit the panic button. To answer the question, by the way,
I said 5.
I'm at about a 2.5. they got to show me something. They got to give me something that is going to make me excited to go to Nashville other than to go to the press junket. Because right now I'm thinking about going to the press junket and then hauling my happy ass back to Cincinnati and watching it on Peacock. Like that's
Yeah.
where I'm at right now.
I couldn't get off work, so I'm not going anyway. So
Because I'm like, look at this. So they hit the panic button with Brock and they brought him in. Okay, that's fine. You could have at the very least, given me the intrigue factor of having Seth Rollins or Sami Zayn as Mr. Money in the Bank.
my God.
Instead, you took that away from us as well and put it on Theory. Oh, who, by the way, is getting a United States Championship rematch after he got his ass thoroughly handed to him by Bobby Lashley at Money in the Bank. Why did you have to do another rematch? Why did you even set that? You could have done a lot of different things with Bobby Lashley, who I Bleav you completely missed the boat on. You know who should be fighting Roman Reigns at SummerSlam? Bobby Lashley. Have you heard the crowds for Bobby Lashley? He is more over now than he has ever been at any point in his WWE career. You had this man hold up a replica WWE championship at Hell in a Cell, and then all of a sudden Cody Rhodes goes away, and it's like, oh, well, nope, we're going to put the United States title on him. No Cody in this pay-per-view. No Randy Orton for this pay-per-view. And even the women's matches, man. Like, I am going to, like, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. Great. Love it. Something fresh, something different. I'd like to see a full on that. Again, that's not guaranteed yet.
We'll probably get Edge and Balor, too.
I would love that. Please. Yes. Add that. That's great. Is that enough to make me want to drive to Nashville? Not necessarily. And
not
even
the way they booked the Judgment Day. Of course, some of that was Rhea's injury, but
on that. Don't
some of that
even started on that. But going back to Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey, that match makes me more nervous than it does make me excited.
Not me, because I think Ronda's ready to take some time off.
I don't.
That's what made me think she lost it there, and I didn't think
she lost it because she told WWE she wanted to lose it.
I did not think that there was going to even be a rematch at SummerSlam. I figured Ronda would just take time off right away.
The rumor is from one of Ronda's friends and photographers is that she told WWE she wanted to lose it. She never asked to be the champion. But that doesn't mean that WWE is not going to get bored with Liv Morgan after 3 weeks and say, nope, we got to put the title right back on Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, there's a huge worry for that.
I am going to be nervous as all hell until she
wins
that match. Until she wins that match, I'm going to be nervous as hell, so I can't get excited for it.
As you should be, unless unless you get a Charlotte Flair screwing Ronda or a Becky Lynch screwing Ronda to set things up for the eventual WrestleMania match that is being predicted right now. You should be worried, because I would not be surprised in the least that if Liv Morgan's title run is only 4 weeks.
They can do two things that would make me genuinely excited to attend the show. One, Bianca versus Rhea. That is a match that needs to be at SummerSlam. Please do not go back to Bianca and Becky. Like, I understand that you want to go back to Bianca and Becky. I don't think
I'm worried. I'm worried they're going to. But I predicted it long ago that it was going to be Bianca and Becky. But I feel it even more now after she won that no holds barred match with Asuka. I think it's clearly now going to be Bianca getting that SummerSlam revenge, and then they're going to save Rhea for Clash at the Castle. There's not been any peep about Rhea being even ready, and we're 3 weeks out. So now I say, if she ain't ready by Monday, hold it off until Clash at the Castle. I don't want
that's the big caveat, right? That's the big caveat is whether
I don't want a 2 week build for this. I don't want a 2 week build for this. You've already neutered the Judgment Day as it is. I don't know.
I think if they start whatever it is, whoever Bianca's opponent is, they got to start at Monday. They got to start the build on Monday, whoever Rhea or whoever Bianca's opponent is. I think it's going to be Becky. I hope it is Rhea if she's healthy.
Based on Becky and Asuka being main event on Monday and Becky winning it, I am fully confident it's going to be Becky and Bianca at SummerSlam.
I'm hoping that they have to do some kind of a
6-pack, 5-pack,
no,
4-pack, 3-pack,
no, but I'm hoping that like maybe
reverse battle royal.
maybe Becky is the one who goes out there and says, "Hey, look, I deserve this title shot. I beat Asuka in the main event," and then Rhea comes out and it sets up a match between the two of them, and then Becky can lose that, and then Becky's story is, "Well, crap, I'm Becky Lynch. I'm on the poster for crying out loud. I need to get on this card somehow. What are we? I would like Becky Lynch to head into SummerSlam without a match." And do like an open challenge, and then that's where you have Bayley return. I think that would be the big thing for me. And then you could have Bayley beat the hell out of Becky Lynch, right? You could do
26 seconds.
Not 26 seconds, but you could have her kick the shit out of her, right? Give Bayley a moment. Give Bayley an absolute moment to just dog Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. That can be the revenge factor. I'm not saying it has to be 26 seconds long or 23 seconds or even 2.5 minutes. Just have Becky get her ass handed to her by somebody that she wasn't expecting to see in Bayley and start off and kick that off. Bianca already got her revenge. She beat her at fucking WrestleMania for the title. That's over. That's done with. I don't need to see Bianca and Becky again, even though their matches have been bangers. And here's my other worry. If WWE does Bianca and Becky again at SummerSlam, that's where I think they'll do the actual Bianca beats Becky inside of like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's a waste for both women on the card.
But the thing is, we haven't even heard any updates on Rhea in 2 weeks. So that does not make me confident that she's going to be ready for SummerSlam. So get ready. It's going to be Bianca and
the
Becky.
injury bug is real, man. It's absolutely real. And
it doesn't care what company you're on either.
I know, but I don't think WWE is doing a good job of reacting to it. I think they are hitting the panic button on a lot of these things. I've said it once, I'll say it again. They got to do something to get me like, let's go, get me hyped up, because right now I'm not hyped up.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head with Bobby Lashley should have been in that spot, not Brock Lesnar.
That seemed like an absolute no-brainer. Or even Seth Rollins. There's a lot of options they could have gone with, and instead they just went up.
There's a lot of options they could have gone with at Money in the Bank too. There was at least 3 good stories you could have gone out with 3 different people in that match, and you went with Theory.
Come on, WWE. Let's get her going. I'm gonna need to see. I need my juices titillated here. All right, as far as SummerSlam is concerned, we'll get to see maximum male models on Friday. That should be enough to get me excited.
I'm excited for that tennis collection, man.
It's gonna be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That actually makes sense with Wimbledon going on right now.
It does.
Again,
you got that German girl who's been in 34 majors, her first semifinal. How about that?
There you go. I like it. Head on over to Bet Online. Put your bets in now. We would not be here without them. Thank you for tuning in to all 63 minutes of this half-hour podcast.
Yeah, 2 days in one.
Yeah,
so
we had a lot.
It was 2 30-minute shows.
We had a lot to get into, and frankly, there was a lot more that we could have dived into as well. This little sampling, little smorgasbord. Pound that thumbs up. Pound the subscribe button. Come back for more. Myself and SP3 will be back on Monday, 7 a.m. Got some interviews in the works for the channel as well. Check out my conversation with Lacey Evans. Very, very, very good. Very open, very honest conversation. Mick Foley liked it. Gave me a little shout out on Twitter, not by name, but hell, he did retweet the article. I can appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter, where I should be verified, at Rick Uccino. Follow him at JB Huskers. We'll be back next week. This is Bleav in Pro Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by Bet Online.